Today we're going to look at joining sentences, and we're going to look at using participles. So we've already looked at examples like Ben won the race and he was given a medal, and we've suggested that basically it's quite boring to have and so we've suggested to remove boring old and we suggested having won the race, Ben was given a medal. After winning the race, Ben was given a medal. So that stops it being boring, doesn't it, basically? And that's a participle. Okay, now a participle is quite a complex construction and lots of people get them wrong. So these sentences have been made by changing the verb from won to having won and to winning. After winning the race, Ben was given a medal. Having won the race, Ben was given a medal. So this is a very useful way to build sentences when you have two things happening at the same time. For example, walking through the park, Jack saw a badger. And you have walking through the park, comma, Jack saw a badger. One thing happening after another, e.g., having walked through the park, comma, Jack went to the shops. So after he walked through the park, Jack went to the shops. And so we can have a little think about that. It's quite a sophisticated, clever and impressive construction. It is worth taking some time to understand it. So let me try and give you some more examples. Oh, eating my meal, I choked on a bone. Oh, eating my meal, I burnt my mouth on a samosa. Yeah, true that. Having eaten my meal too quickly, I felt incredibly full and bloated. Again, that huge Indian takeaway that I had at the weekend. So having eaten a meal far too quickly, and indeed having eaten far too much, I felt very bloated. So this is quite a sophisticated, clever and impressive construction, and you can see I could have said I ate my meal, I felt full, couldn't I? Or yeah. I ate my meal and I felt full. Or yeah, so it's very sophisticated. So we can look at some more examples. Phil was playing his best tennis for several years, and he knew that he had a chance of winning the tournament. Becomes playing his best tennis for several years, comma, Phil knew that he had a chance of winning the tournament. Again, sentence, Claire was sipping a cocktail near the Golden Beach and turquoise sea. She thought that this was the best holiday she'd ever had. So that's two separate sentences. Becomes sipping a cocktail near the Golden Beach and turquoise sea, comma, Claire thought this was the best holiday she had ever had. So the task you've got is to copy the same construction in the following sentences by filling in the blanks. So most of them have been started for you. So I'll do two and then I'll copy and paste it into your document. The police were clearing the streets after the worst riot for years. They found thousands of pounds worth of damage. Becomes clearing the streets after the worst riot for years. They found thousands of pounds worth of damage. And the next one, my brother has applied for a very exciting job at the BBC. He is now spending his time doing research for an interview. Becomes having applied, so he's already applied for the job, having applied for a very exciting job at the BBC. My brother is now spending his time researching, ready for his interview. Right, I'm just going to tell you one more thing about it. So you've got fly goes to flying, goes to flown. So flying past the window, the bird let out a squawk. Having flown past the window, he crashed into a tree. Okay, swim. Swimming across the channel, I got very cold. Having swum across the channel, I became very boastful about how fit I was.
Freezing.
Yeah, having swum across the channel, comma, I was extremely cold and it took me 5 days to get warm. Riding, rode. So go on, give me one with riding in it, an example of riding.
Having rode in the American national competition, I felt enchantedly happy.
Okay, having rode. I'd want to say having ridden actually, personally. Having ridden in the Olympic show jumping team, I felt enchantingly happy. I think it's having ridden. Anyway, and riding through the streets on their bicycles, comma, they noticed that there was no cars during lockdown. So there we are. So some more shake. Shaking my head, I realised that I'd forgotten my key. Having shaken the bottle, she realised too late the lid wasn't on.
Oops.
Yeah. So these are the past participles and the present participle. So more varied sentences will raise your writing skills and your marks. So if you can learn and use this participle construction, as well as other methods that we've talked about, your writing will definitely improve. Okay. So look at these additional. Looking through a magazine, I saw some trousers that I really liked. Yeah. Looking through a magazine, I saw some trousers that I really liked. So that's actually, they're looking through a magazine at the same time as they're seeing the trousers. Scattered over the slopes, the cottages looked tiny from the hilltop. So they were scattered in the past. They were built in the past.
Yeah.
And they looked tiny from the hilltop. Situated in a sheltered valley, comma, Mintown rarely has severe weather. Again, situated is a past tense. And, they have been situated there. And now it rarely has severe weather. So that's the past participle. And then you've got tiptoeing quietly down the stairs, comma, Robbie froze when he heard his father call out. So as he's tiptoeing down the stairs, his dad hears him, obviously escaping to go out partying during lockdown. All four of these were built using participles. You can look carefully and decide which two begin with a present participle and which two begin with a past participle. So looking through a magazine is a present, scattered over the slopes is a past, as I said, situated in a sheltered valley is a past, and tiptoeing quietly down the stairs is a present participle. So the present means two things are happening at the same time. The past means one thing happens before the other. Before you can start to build your own sentences in this way, there is only one really key point that people always forget, and it's the key point with this, and it's the one that people always get wrong. Always. This is actually the most important bit in what I'm teaching you now. Okay. If you read the beginnings of these sentences, you'll see that the writers haven't yet made clear who or what is doing that action. So we can look at looking through the magazine. We've got no idea who is looking through the magazine. Scattered over the slopes. What are scattered over the slopes? We've got no idea. Situated in a sheltered valley. Who or what is situated in a sheltered valley? And tiptoeing quietly down the stairs. Who is? We don't know. So the very next word after the comma of this participle phrase must answer that question. It must say who or what is doing that action. So that is why it's looking through a magazine. I scattered over the slopes, the cottages. Finish the sentence. Situated in a sheltered valley, comma, Mintown. Tiptoeing quietly down the stairs, Robbie. So we know exactly who's doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, and so if I just give you two more examples, and then we'll have a look at some exercises. So you can change the following sentences into ones that begin with participles, but remember to check the points that have just been covered. There is some help with the early ones. So the vandals were congratulating themselves on not being spotted. They strolled casually down the road becomes congratulating themselves on not being spotted. The vandals strolled casually down the road. So we've got to put vandals immediately after
What
the
about
participle. Go on. What about what?
what was the original version again?
The vandals were congratulating themselves on not being spotted. They strolled casually down the road.
Strolling casually down the road, the vandals were congratulating themselves.
Yeah, you can say that too. There's two different ways of saying it, yeah, because it's the same. You can say strolling casually down the road. The vandals were busy congratulating themselves on not being spotted. Yeah, yeah, because it's two things happening at the same time. Newton has been built at the centre of 3 motorways and it is a perfect place for new business. Becomes, here's the clue, built at. Can you do that one?
Built at the centre of of what it was.
Built at the centre of 3 motorways, yeah.
Newton's.
Newton is a perfect place for new business, yeah.
Yeah.
I opened the front door to see who had rung the bell so late at night. I was amazed to find my Australian cousin. And the clue begin with opening the front door late at night.
I spotted my American cousin.
I spotted my Australian cousin, yeah. Okay, and so there's some more here that you can do. So I hope you find that helpful, and please try and use participle phrases whenever you do a piece of writing, at least 2 of them. That'll be great.